watch us fly like Delta engines. Man, we beneficial when these laws, they benefit you. I got so much channel aggression towards any law official that say we not the people or any artificial that conjured up an image that is contrary to the scriptures. On their feet like polished brass, lightning bolts coming from his visage. You can approach the throne, but not until I extend the golden scepter. That's right, stay in line. Watch me handle mine.
For so long, we've been going without a nationality, without a race, without a purpose as a people. So guess what? We're going to show you your race and your purpose today according to God. Give me that Deuteronomy 1:1. So let's get the context of what's going on here. Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
So these be the words. This Bible are the words that Moses spoke to all of Israel. Let's see what else he said. Matter of fact, hold on, give me John 8:32 real quick. Book of John chapter 8 verse 32. I touched on a point earlier, and I want to prove it out of the scriptures. Read what you got. John chapter 8 verse 32.
The book of John chapter 8 verse 32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
So God says you shall know the truth, and the truth is what's going to make you free.
Right.
We've all heard that saying, but we never really knew what it meant. Right. What does it mean to know the truth, and it shall make us free? Right. Got what I want? Give me that Psalms 119. Let's find out what that truth is according to the Bible. Right. Read that.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 142. Right. The righteousness is an everlasting righteousness.
So God's righteousness is an everlasting righteousness. Read on.
And thy law.
And thy what?
And thy law is the truth.
You see that? So the laws of God is the truth. That's what's going to make us free. When we come back and keep God's laws, wake up to who we are according to the Bible, that's what's going to make us free.
That's right.
Not politics, not the Christian church, not gang banging. That's not going to make us free. How you doing, sir? What's your name? Okay, Mr. Willie Davis. So what we're doing out here today, we're showing our people who we are according to the Bible, right? Because all the things that happen in our neighborhood, right? Even in Little Mount Bayou, it's violence going on in Mount Bayou, right? Little old Shelby, violence is going on. These are small towns that we're in, but yet violence still go on in these towns. Why is that? Do you know why? Huh? I got you. Go back. Come on over. Go to Deuteronomy 28:15. So what we're going to do, we got to show our people who we are according to the Bible. Because you go to church, if I may ask? Right. When you go to church, who do they teach black people who they are according to the Bible? Do they teach us our race out of the Bible? They don't, right? They'll say things like, we all one in Christ Jesus, for God so loved the world, or, we Gentiles, stuff like that, right? That's what they say right in church, right? But God created everybody. We know today, God created them in the Bible, He named them. But when we go to these churches, guess what? They don't teach us that. And that's one of the biggest problems in our neighborhood. So watch this, Deuteronomy 28, verse 15.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. So
this is, Moses, right? Moses was speaking to the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Give me that Deuteronomy 29:1. I'm going to show you that. So it said, it shall come to pass if they would listen to God, right? Read what you got.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 29, verse 1. These are the words of the covenant.
Do you know what a covenant is? It's like an agreement, right? So it says, this Bible, this is the covenant that God did what with?
These are the words of the covenant, which the Lord commanded Moses to speak with the children of Israel.
So God gave these words to Moses and told him to do what with it? Give it to the children of Israel. That's right. So let's see some of the things that were contained in this covenant or agreement, right? Read, go back to verse 15. Watch this.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So Moses told the children of Israel, it's going to happen if you don't listen to God. Right? You following me so far? Right. Read on.
To observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day.
So Moses told them, something's going to happen to you, Israelites, if you don't keep God's commandments. Read on.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So a curse, is a curse a good or a bad thing? It's a bad thing, right? Because, watch verse 1. Read verse 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So the flip side, if they would have kept God's commandments, God said he would have set them on high above all nations on the face of the earth. And what would happen?
And all these blessings shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So you see the difference? If they kept the commandments, God would bless them and set them above all nations of the earth, right? That's rulership, right? But if they didn't obey God, they would be cursed, right? And brought low. So watch this. I'm finna read you a curse that would happen to these people, and I want you to tell me who they line up with. Read.
Verse 16. Cursed shall thou be in the city.
So the first curse Moses told them what happened to them is that they will be cursed in the city. You look around any city, you look around Mount Bayou, even though it's majority black people, right? But if you go to any city in America, you go to where it's most impoverished, what people stay there? If you go into the hood, where it's boarded up houses, black people stay there, right? The food we have in our neighborhood, right? Is it the healthiest? No. It's not. We got fried chicken. We got pizza. We got the most unhealthy food in our living conditions, right? And in our dwelling places, we have the most unhealthy foods. And the crazy part about it, the people that sell it to you, they don't even eat it. You ever find that strange? The people that sell you the most unhealthiest food, they themselves don't eat it. Because they know it's not healthy. It would destroy their body. But they feed it to our people to destroy us. So that's God saying that we would be cursed in the city. Right? You go right down the road right here to those halfway houses, right? Who stay in those houses down the road right there? Black men or black women? Men and women. Majority women, right? And those women, are they married? No. But you see baby after baby after baby after baby, right? That's being cursed in the city. Because Mount Bayou is what? Dare I say 95% black? But yet, who own this store? Not black people. You see what I'm saying? That's being cursed in the city because if you go anywhere else, if you go to somewhere where it's majority white people, so-called white people there, black people don't own no business there. You see what I'm saying? Nowhere you go, you can't go to an Arab community, you can't go to a white man community, an Asian community. You can't go to their community and see black people with stores in their community, can you? You can't do it. But you come to the black community, other races are all throughout their community. And the money that we give to their stores, right? Do they put it back into the community? They don't. They can care less about us. That's God saying the children of Israel will be cursed in the city. Bring it on.
Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field.
It says also the children of Israel, they will be cursed in the field also. You know anything about being cursed in fields? Tell me what you know about it. I'll give you a hint. That's being cursed in the field right there. Picking cotton. Did we pick cotton all up and down 61? All up and down Highway 49? Wasn't all those fields full of cotton?
Yeah, I did that.
Right. My mama did it. My mother used to pick cotton.
Yeah, right.
You see what I'm saying? And did you make a lot of money doing it? You didn't make a lot. You made the bare minimum. You see what I'm saying? And the businesses that we did have, what happened? They made another highway.
Right.
Because wasn't this originally the Highway 61 that went through? And from the looks of the old buildings, it used to be businesses, right? and Mount Bayou flourished at one point in time, right? But what happened when they cut this off and added that highway over there? It stopped flourishing, and we get what we got today, right? You put it down, so you put it down. Right. So guess what? That's being cursed in the field. From the literal field, the cotton field, sugar field, us picking cotton for 15, 20 cents a day, to our businesses being cursed.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? To where the point where we can used to be doing good. We used to have black-owned businesses, but your enemy say, you know what? They doing too well for themselves over there. They marrying each other over there. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna destroy everything they got, and they did it. You see what I'm saying? That's us being cursed in the field also.
Right.
So what I'm showing you is that what we're going over in the Holy Bible, they never taught it to us in church. Have you ever heard this in church? You've never heard it in church. Why is that? They don't want you to know. They want you to stay impoverished.
Right.
Because I brought up the point about all the single parents that go on, all the single mothers right here in Mount Bayou, right? I was speaking to two sisters from Mount Bayou the other day. They had 9 kids between the two of them, with 4 to 5 baby daddies.
Right.
Marriage is not being held at a high esteem in our community anymore. It used to be back in the day, but not no more. And that's why we're at the bottom of society now. But what we're reading out of the Bible actually happening to us for our disobedience, right? So watch this. Read verse 32.
Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
So we're in the heart of the desert. We're in Mississippi, right? We know about our sons and daughters being taken away from us, right? And given to other races of people.
Yes,
when you watch movies like Django, 12 Years a Slave, Roots, when you look at the history of Mount Bayou, Glendora, what else? Greenwood, Indianola, when you look at the history, they were selling our people on plantations.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So the Bible says that our sons and daughters will be taken away from us and given to other people. Read on.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
So guess what? When they came and took our kids away from us, could we do anything to get them back? We couldn't do nothing. Grown men, we couldn't get our kids back.
Right.
If that being the case, why we shoot and kill each other? Why we fight each other? Why we so tough against each other? But when the slave master came and took our kids, there was nothing we could do to get them back.
Right.
That's the power of God.
Right.
All this happened because we disobeyed him.
Right.
We broke our commandments. And we lost knowledge of who we are. Watch, I'm going to prove that. Read on.
And there shall be no might in thine hand.
So there will be no might in our hands to get our kids back. They can call child protective service on you today. And they come and take your kids, and there's nothing you can do about it. Am I right?
That's right.
That's right. There's nothing we could do if they decide, you know what? I feel you ain't taking care of your baby right. I'm finna come take them away.
Right.
They could do that, and there would be nothing we could do about it. Why? Because we disobey our God.
Right.
But us as black people, we don't know that the God of this Bible is only our God.
Right.
We fill the churches up. You got 3-4 churches that can hold the whole population of Mount Bayou.
Right.
And they ain't teaching nothing in those churches. Read what you got. Read on. Watch this.
The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up.
I want you to read that again. I really want you to pay attention to this verse. Read it.
The fruit of thy land.
What is the fruit of your land? Do you know? Meaning like crops. That's the things that you grow, like these fields. Those fields was once ours. And so guess what? The things we grew in those fields, guess what? It was ours. We could take it. You know, if you want to pick you some greens, some collards or whatever, make you a meal or whatever, you can go out to the field and do that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? The businesses we had, we could go to each other for business. So the Bible says the fruit of your land, all that you worked hard for, all that was yours, what would happen?
The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up.
So the people that came and changed this highway and built a new highway, who did that? What race of people did that? White people did it, right? So-called white people, because the biblical name is Esau, the Edomites. But we know them as white people, right? They did that. So God says a nation that you don't know will come and take that away from you. Did that not happen? That happened to us. Showing you what, that this Bible is lining up with us. And it happened. You know why it happened? I want to see if you caught on to what we were reading. Because we disobeyed God. That's why it happened to us. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. You see what I'm saying? You got boarded up apartment buildings around here. You see what I'm saying? It's that bad. Watch this, read on.
And thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always.
You see what God said, what happened to us? God said a race of people that you don't know was going to take everything you got and you was going to be oppressed only continually. You will only be oppressed. Because Mount Bayou was doing good in the 50s and 60s. But from that point on, it's been going downhill, downhill, downhill.
Right.
And has things looked like they gotten better around here? It hasn't. Things have not gotten better for us as a race of people.
Right.
All because we broke God's laws. You see what I'm saying? One of God's laws is the Sabbath day, right? Do you know about the Sabbath? Right. So give me the Exodus 28.
Bring it up.
These are the ways that we can start to restore our community. Because there's rules on God's Sabbath day.
Right.
Because the churches right here in Mount Bayou, what they do, they open up on. What day do you all attend church?
Bring it up.
Sunday, right? But what can I find in the Bible where God told me to come together on Sunday? What can I find? You can't find it. Watch this, read it.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
So God said we got to remember the Sabbath day because guess what? Throughout the process of slavery, guess what? We would lose the knowledge of the Sabbath.
Right.
That's why you can have a big field at a church right at the edge of the road. Am I right? Majority, all these, you drive around the Mississippi Delta, you're gonna see a church out in the open. You're like, man, why that church there? But you being an older man, you know why that church is there, right? Because back in the day, when we came out of the cotton fields, that church was right there.
Right.
And we had those shacks alongside, but they eventually tore them down, right? But the church still there standing.
Right.
Some people still go to some of these churches. When you pass up through Slaughter, going to Greenwood, the church on the side of the road by that big field, that's what people still go to the church. And now instead of boarding up houses, they got a couple brick houses right there. They still go to those churches on Sunday. Because we forgot the Lord's Sabbath day. Watch this, read on.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work.
So God is telling us from Sunday to Friday, that's 6 days, right? God said you got time to do all your work. Read.
But the seventh day.
But the seventh day, which is what? What's the seventh day of the week? No, it's not. Sunday is the first day of the week because if you pull your phone out, you look at your calendar, you got an S at the beginning and you got an S at the end, right? The first S is Sunday. That's the first day. You got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, right? Friday will be the 6th day. So God is telling us we got all those 6 days to do all our work. Make all your money, take care of your family, work your job, pay your bills, right? Read.
But the seventh day.
But the seventh day, which is the Sabbath, read.
Is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
Read.
In it thou shalt not do any work.
You see what God said? God said we're not supposed to do any work on the Sabbath.
Yes, right.
But us being poor like we are, guess what? Our enemies make it somewhat hard for us to serve God.
Right.
Because we in Mount Bayou, for instance, right? A lot of us are poor. So some of us don't have a choice but to work on Saturday because we barely can't make ends meet. So we got to work on Saturday to get the little bit extra we need to maybe pay the light bill, get your parts for your car that might be giving you trouble, pay your cable bill, your water bill. We do these things.
Right.
But the Lord is telling us to remember the Sabbath day. We can't do no work on the Sabbath.
Right.
So watch this, Nehemiah 10:31. Nehemiah 10:31, yeah, that's it. So we got to start to keep God's Sabbath. These are some of the commandments that we broke. But by us not having this knowledge, guess what? We would do things like work on the Sabbath, which is Saturday, but not knowing that we got other options. It's better ways to save that money so we won't have to work on Saturday. Right? Watch this, read it.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 10, verse 31. And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell.
It says, if the people of the land, right? So meaning stores, right? Clothing stores, food stores. It says if the people that are around you that's selling things to you, if they bring it to you on the Sabbath day to sell to you, what will happen?
That we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath.
You see that? So we're not supposed to be buying on God's holy Sabbath.
Right.
That's how we save our money to the point where we don't have to work on Saturdays.
That's right.
We can now keep this law of God. Right. But when you look around at our people, what we doing? We go in and out these stores buying and selling.
Right.
They put prices half off on Friday and Saturday just so you can disobey your God. You think they don't know that? We the only people that don't know how powerful we are when we keep God's commandments.
Right.
But guess what? The so-called Arab man, he know.
Right.
The so-called white man, he know.
Right.
That's why he moved all the niggas up here to Mountain Bayou. He stayed good in Marigold. Because Marigold is what? Majority what? White. And do it look different? Does the living conditions look different from Marigold to right here in Mount Bayou? You see that? It's a big difference.
Right.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? All because we don't know these things. But if we knew these things, we can start to come together and we can start to fix the problems in our neighborhood.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Read that again.
And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell, that we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath.
See that? So we're not supposed to be buying and selling on God's holy Sabbath.
Right.
That's where we save our money, and we can put that money that we would spend today to better use. Because a lot of us, what we do, we work 5 days a week, some 6 days a week. Friday night come, what we doing? Saturday night come, what we doing? We partying. We partying. Why? Because from Monday to Friday, we've been catching hell. They been giving you a headache at work. You can't find work. You see what I'm saying? So on the weekend, you just want to lay back, relax, drink your beer here and there. You see what I'm saying? But God say no. You got to come together on that day. That's the day we supposed to come together.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because we know black people. We all black around here, right? we go get the 6-packs. You know what I'm saying? We get the liquor. We go to the pool hall or whatever. You see what I'm saying? A lot of us go to the clubs and all that. You constantly spending money.
Right.
But if you kept God's laws and kept this commandment, guess what you do? All that money you will spend on the Sabbath, it can be saved.
Right.
So Monday come around, you're like, damn, I got all this money. But when you spend, you like, you know, and they leave you like, you know, I just get up for work Monday and do it all over again.
Right.
But if you just save that money and keep God's laws, guess what? You working with a pocket full of money, you good.
Right.
You can pay your bills. You can do whatever you need to do. You can see further, as we say, right? You can see a little further. You see what I'm saying? But we got to learn these things, Exodus 35:3. We got to learn God's commandments.
Right.
And like I said, the churches, they're not teaching us God's commandments. They teaching us to go against God's commandments. They say things like, you know, you can't keep the commandments. They say stuff like that. But watch this. But we just read one commandment that we can do. We can come together on the Sabbath. It's not hard for us to not buy something.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's not hard.
Right.
Read it.
The book of Exodus, chapter 35, verse 3. Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day.
You see what God said? God said we're not supposed to cook either on the Sabbath.
That's right.
Because back in the day, those Sunday meals Big Mama used to make, how long would you take her to make? How long would you take Big Mama to make them Sunday meals? I know my mama get up at 6 o'clock, got a stove going. You see what I'm saying? She got a stove going at 6 o'clock, all the way to about 2 o'clock. She cooking. That's more work. God tell us not to cook on this holy day.
Right.
We're not supposed to be cooking. But what you're supposed to do, Maverick, is that
Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day.
Right, and that's talking about cooking. It's not talking about, you turn your heat on. It's talking about cooking. Yeah. So, guess what? When we do these things, we can put more of our attention on serving God. Right? So watch this, Exodus 16:23.
The book of Exodus, chapter 16, verse 23. And he said unto them, this is that which the Lord hath said, tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. Bake that which ye will bake today.
So Moses told us, he say, knowing the Sabbath is coming up, right? Meaning on the 7th day of the week, Sabbath. He say, bake, meaning go ahead and cook what you're going to cook today, meaning Friday. Go ahead and do that the day before. You might want to bake you some chicken, you know what I'm saying? You might cut you up some fruits or something like that. Get some cold cuts, you know what I'm saying, as long as they ain't pork, right? But get some cold cuts. You might want to get that stuff ready for the next day, which is the Sabbath, because knowing we're not supposed to cook on that day, right? Read on.
Bake that which you will bake today, and seethe that you will seethe.
So seed meaning boil. You might want to boil you some eggs, maybe some devil eggs or something like that. Moses told us to go ahead and do that the day before.
Right.
Read.
And that which remaineth overlaid up for you to be kept until the morning.
You see that? That's how we keep the Sabbath. You make your food before, so when Saturday comes, because a lot of people say stuff like, well, what I'm going to eat on Saturday? Just gave you the instructions.
Right.
Prepare your food Friday, so when Saturday comes, and I like that you're getting it. I can see you getting it. So prepare your food Friday, so when Saturday roll around, you got some food to eat. You got something to eat.
Right.
Pack your lunch and come on to the Sabbath. Leviticus 23:2.
Yeah.
These are the rules. These are simple rules of the Sabbath that we haven't been applying.
Right.
Because after Sunday church, we already know what happens. We barbecuing pork. We're not supposed to eat pork. We barbecuing pork, sausages. All these things that God tell us not to eat, we cook them right after we go to so-called church.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? They leading us further down to hell.
Right.
And some of them may not genuinely know what they're doing, but some of them do know what they're doing.
Right.
Because some of them do read the Bible, and they do read, you know what? The Bible says I'm supposed to eat pork. But if I tell Mr. Johnny that he's not supposed to eat pork, maybe he ain't going to pay tithe this week.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? If I tell Sister Sally that she's not supposed to be eating pork and I know she love it, guess what? She might not come to church next Sunday.
Right.
A lot of them know this stuff. You see what I'm saying? And they refuse to teach it to us.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you. It's nation time.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the